Good morning, Warriors! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well. I decided to do one this morning so you can see me instead of all the darkness that I had in the past. So, hope you guys are doing well. Another great day, another great letter of battles, great shield to have, a great helmet to have when it comes to battling this evil one and the temptations that we have all the time, that we have to continue to watch ourselves, keep our energy, be the best we can be, accomplish our goals, and continue to do on. So, thank you guys for all your comments. Thank you guys for everything that you're doing to kind of help give me ideas. Another great idea from Bob Cool today. We'll talk about this one a little bit. We'll kind of tell this one, who is the slave during Semen Retention? I like that. I like what he was talking about here, so we'll talk about this in a second. I didn't get a chance to go back through all the other comments over the last week. We'll do that with Easter coming up. I'll have a little more time to do more videos and to kind of go ahead and talk about some of these other ideas more and have some new ideas to talk about as you guys make comments and shout outs. So, but we're going to start at 1:15 here talking about our content. So, Bob Cool, one of our great viewers, talked about how women become more of your slaves as you're going on semen retention, and how right he is about that, Bob Cool, how right you are. Let's explain why this happens, and really whether it matters or not is a good observation. Now, it matters for a number of other reasons besides just obviously the temptation of releasing and all that. But let's kind of talk in terms of why this first happens, and then we'll talk about in terms of the benefits. All right, so we talk about the fact that when it comes to things like images and pictures and women, in this case, if you're a man, I usually talk about men because it's a bigger problem with men than as women, but men are very visually oriented, so they get caught by pictures and all this other kind of stuff, and then we end up losing our energy. Now, for what purpose? That's a good question. I think a lot of people have gotten a notion, well, it's healthier to do this all the time. It's healthier to go ahead and release as much as possible. It's healthier to do this for a number of reasons. And so, the idea is that people go ahead and do it. Well, they are wasting their energy. You find that people tend to, have dysfunctions when they're younger ages. They tend to have trouble actually with a woman if they're sitting watching, got pictures or images, things like that. And now they struggle in real relationships. And very few of them have good relationships because all you're doing is kind of looking at the fantasy, the imaging, the illusion of what you're seeing. So, who is the slave? Well, when you're in the case of releasing all the time, and you're in the case of watching all these pictures and things like that, you, the warrior, becomes a slave. You are the slave when you're dependent on these other things to get your excitement, arousal, and you're spending time doing this. You have to break away from that because you cannot be the slave. And that's what ends up happening when we get caught into all this kind of stuff. So what Bob Cool is saying is that you are really a slave for all these women, whether they're in pictures, whether in real life. And all these men become thirsty males. And so they exhibit behaviors that are not being masculine in my mind. And what you really, really want to look at is the fact that as a male, you need to be independent. You need to have goals. You need to be striving for something, your own excellence. Don't waste time with pictures or having, one night stands and all this other kind of stuff in which you're releasing all the time, because you're hurting and destroying yourself, and you're not really having any kind of relationships that are going to benefit other people either. And they have to figure that out on their own. But in your case, you realize you're the slave. And the more you do that, the more addicted you get. Even in a relationship with somebody, if you're not married with that person, or you're not having any kind of long-term a relationship, you can very easily become addicted, like you get addicted to drugs, you get addicted to eating, you get addicted to gambling, alcohol, whatever it might be. It's the same type of addiction. Now you get caught and you're going down that hole and you can't get back out. You're in that cage. Well, now I need to release more and more. And that's happened to me. It's happened to everybody else in our lifetimes. What I'm saying to you, warriors, is the fact that as you become more independent and more controlling of your own behavior, you now can control the situation around you. And what Bob Cool is saying, and he's right on target on this, is now all the women, especially the women we're talking about here, they now become more attracted to you because they know that you have the seed. Subconsciously, they know. They just look at you and their instincts, their biological instincts react to you. I've seen it over and over again. I don't care how old the woman is, 50, 60, 30, 20, something like that. It doesn't really matter. Those women are attracted to you because of your energy and the fact that you're a man who has self-control. And if you have self-control, now you control the situations more around you. Obviously, you're not going to control everything. God is in control. But you can control certain things that you didn't control before. And that's the fact of releasing, and people notice that. So now women will flock over to you. I don't care if you're 20 years old, even more so when you're 20 and 30. In my case, 60, I still get unbelievable attention because women sense this. They sense that. They may call it charisma. They may call it enthusiasm, passion. There's something in you that's important. And always remember, guys, that what you are going to be on this, when you got this superpower, is you're kind of like an uncontrolled animal. Even though you're controlled, you have that ability to be that wild animal. And women have told me for years this is what they like. To have this type of person who is not going to be self-controlled, not have all this kind of emotional type of baggage, and they want someone that they can kind of lean on, have security. And this is not all women, of course, but there's lots of women who do want that security, and they don't want to have all this emotional. They have enough emotion and drama with themselves and their girlfriends and everything else in their life. They need somebody that they can lean on who's strong, and somebody who's not going to be involved in all the emotional type of stuff, but also somebody who can actually kind of be that dominant person. And dominance is really important when it comes to being a strong male. You have to be dominant. I'm not talking about being arrogant and aggressive and things like that. I'm talking about being dominant, which means you're dominant within yourself and you're self-controlled. Now you can be dominated around other people because you know exactly what you're doing and you know exactly what you want the outcome to be. You're in control of the situation. That's because you can control yourself. And now all of a sudden you are no longer the slave. All of a sudden other people become the slave for you. And I'm not just talking about women. What I'm talking about too, with the benefits of semen retention, you attract all kinds of attention to you. Some can be bad, of course. You get some people, men are jealous, men are envious. Women just, because they have other types of likes, they may not like you. That happens. It's happened to me several times. But most of the people will be drawn to you. And what does that mean? Well, when it comes to your overall life, it means a lot of possibilities. Now you have possibilities. And I'm not talking about just relationship possibilities. If you're looking for that one person, warrior, then all of a sudden you can find that one person. But if you're looking to make money and you're looking for opportunities in business, now you have other opportunities coming your way. And we're going to do one on jobs and things like that pretty soon. But you make a better impression with people. You have that aura around you. You have that energy around you. You have that magnetism around you. And now you're drawing opportunities. Opportunities for employment. Opportunities to be partners. To solve problems in companies. To work with people. Now all of a sudden you become this high level person who is on a different level energy-wise. And people see that. When people see that, they don't know why, but they know this is a person that you've got to be with. And a company will want somebody like that because they represent the company great. Because other people see that, and they say, okay, I want to be around that person. And that's the key. They want to be around you. Now, of course, you've got to handle the ethical part of all that, warriors. Obviously, if you're married or you're, have a person, you're not going to be fooling around with other people. And obviously in job, you're going to have all the moral values you need to have as well and not be cheating the company. But those are the types of things that can hurt your reputation. But the kind of things that are going to help is getting you in the door is this kind of stuff we're talking about. So I think this is a great topic, Bob Cool. And thank you for bringing it up. And it's also a very good idea to kind of look at all of a sudden you go from being the slave to all of this stuff to now being in control. And other people now are your slaves. Now the decision again is responsibility on your behalf. Now you're getting great power, warriors. Your power is coming from within, and other people are validating that power. So what do you do with it? Well, you got to do it with your goals, ethical way, a moral way. You got to follow God's rules and laws and figure out what is he intending for you and go on that path, because that's what the women and others that want around you will look for. They will look next about, okay, there's something about the person I like. Let me figure out what it is. And if you connect that with your values and ideas and your moral values, and all of a sudden now you become this high prize person, whether it's in relationships. And look at guys, you can have 20 women in love with you at the same time because they love what they see. And other times they're going to love the experience because that's how they feel. They're emotional. And so you may have a wife, but you may have 20 other women in love with you. Now, are you going to do anything with this? No, of course not. But on the other hand, all that type of stuff is good relationship things. And who knows, a lot of these people may be in influential positions and they may get you in different types of roles and things you can do. And you can still be friends with them, but you're controlling that. You're the one in control. Remember that. You're the one that makes the decisions and not of someone else now. And that's a key type of thing. Same thing with a job situation as well. Any type of thing that comes about, other men will respect you. Other men will admire you. Now, there's going to be some that don't, of course. But those you don't need, you can move on. And I think as someone suggested the other day, if the person doesn't like you, just move on. There's a lot of other, as my uncle used to say, a lot of other fish in the sea. All right. Anyway, I want to end this one. Bob Cool, thank you so much for your comment. A great comment. And once again, guys, you are no longer the slave. You become you are becoming the slave owner of other people. And I say that in a positive way, not a negative way. What I'm talking about is that all of a sudden now you're not a slave to all this stuff. Now you're in control. And other people, they like you. They'll do anything for you to help you. And that's important. All right, guys, enough of this one. Until next time, guys, 2 things to remember. First, every day is a new day to a great warrior. And secondly, remember always, guys, to battle!